So look, I kind of know what you're thinking when I'm walking into the shot here. I know what you're thinking. Why is it this colour? This is a BMW M4 Competition in, well, a punch in the face is the best colour I can come up with as to what you should have called this, a punch in the face, because it really is hard to look at this hour of the morning. But that doesn't stop us having a look at what it makes a competition BMW M4 worth the price tag. I'm going to put the prices up on the screen now for M4. But what I'm also going to do is break down the price of how much tax is involved in the M4 and just how much you got to pay to the government for having that little license plate on the front of your car, because it is a complete and utter obscene rip-off of the Irish people. VRT was introduced by then Finance Minister Bertie Ahern. He went on to be the leader of the country.
Perhaps if you stop waffling, we might get some work done. They're a waffler. They've been years around here waffling.
Mr. Ahern, while he was Finance Minister, was allegedly moving around Dublin with a suitcase full of money, hiding it in various places. It was also asked as to why the Minister for Finance for the entire country didn't actually have his own bank account. Vehicle registration tax was to replace excise duty, which forced people to buy products in Ireland or pay extra tax to import them from somewhere else. It's the same kind of tax that still exists from items from America. The VRT, or vehicle registration tax, was only supposed to be around for 4 years, and according to this Irish Times article, the SIMI and many other vested parties were in favour of getting rid of VRT, and it was distorting the price of cars in both new and used models. In Budget 2020, they changed some of the taxes again, bringing in a NOx tax on cars, which is another tax on the tax on the tax of VAT.
I am replacing the 1% diesel surcharge introduced last year with a nitrogen oxide emissions-based charge. This surcharge will apply to all passenger cars. The surcharge reflects the detrimental effect of these emissions on our environment.
While the VRT tax isn't actually illegal, we don't pay a fine every single year, the EU has stated that Ireland's VRT goes against the very spirit of the single market. But how does that break down into actual prices on a car? The actual price of a BMW M4 I'm driving without options is €70,500.74 with a leather interior. VAT of €16,215.17 is then applied, and then VRT is applied on top of that, €43,373.91, making a total of €130,089.82. Here's the list price of all the options on my test car. If you take the VAT and the VRT together, we get €65,650.95 in just taxes to buy a new BMW M4 in Ireland, which in itself is enough to buy a 4 Series coupe and have 10 grand left over in your pocket.
It's not points. No wages and taxes and all that. Have you no shame? You don't shame yourself. The TV there the last 2 days mouting out of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Thank you.
Shame on you.
Thank you.
I would hope that soon the SIMI and the car industry in general will begin to see that Irish people are being ripped off on the prices of cars through double taxation, and it can no longer be sustained by car owners. So a quick word here after you've probably calmed down by now. Maybe your blood pressure's gone down as small as it, but this is the kidney grill. So it's no longer a kidney grill, it's a lung grill. So they're about the size of a lung now, actually a lung out of a cow maybe. And with the license plate in the front, it actually looks okay. Without the license plate, it doesn't look so brilliant. And it's one of the very few cars that if you took the license plate off, it looks worse. And I can't quite explain that. Here's the American version of the car, which doesn't need to have a license plate in the front of it. And I've killed basically every single piece of fly for a bazillion miles. Anyway, let's have a look around the rest of the car. This is all carbon fibre as well, with 4 exhausts. I think it might actually look nice if there was 2 big oval exhausts on the back of it. It's just the aesthetic point of view. The exhausts can be turned on and off for different kind of noises. So let's do a startup noise, see what that sounds like. It's on the inside, I think, where I get a little bit disappointed in this car, and I'll tell you why. It's not the seats. The seats are phenomenal, but the seats are over £5,000 option, these particular kind of race seats. They do look extraordinary, but they are hard to get out of. They've got these massive bolsters on both sides to hold you in, and I understand why they're all there. I get it. I know it's a race car, but they've built this so you can put harnesses into these seats, which sounds extraordinary when you realise, though, that most M4s end up just driving around, you know, rich people's places. That's about it, really. Why I get this a little bit disappointed in it is because I could be sitting in any other BMW range car. So I could be sitting in a 5 Series, a 3 Series, or anything else. Other than a bit of carbon fibre here and there, the interior is pretty much the same as all the rest of them. So if you want kids in the back, right? One of the first kind of sports cars that does this. It actually shifts forward electrically to get you in behind it, right? Carbon fibre on the back of the seat as well. And you will fit in behind yourself there, no problem. There's plenty of headroom back there for 2 adults. You're not going to fit 3 people in there, but 2 adults for sure. 2 kids, yep, no problem at all. You click that back and it remembers where it was a second ago. Everybody should have that, but that's a £5,500 option. Let's go for a spin. So the pantomime of driving is actually quite easy. I mean, it's just a push button and away you go, right? So that's pretty much, that's how it runs through the whole thing. Like, there's reversing cameras, there's reversing assistance, but I do notice there's no like self-parking. There's other things that are missing as well, like active cruise control, that sort of stuff. If I'm paying this kind of money for a car, I want everything in it. I don't want to be worried about options or anything else. I'm at the top end of what BMW do here, so why am I even thinking about options? You know what I mean? Speaking of which, what?
Southwest.
Relax, love. So, speaking of which here,
2 kilometers.
speaking of complications, so if you just put this in D, that's it, don't do anything else to it, just drive on, you will have a lovely experience as the car shuttles your way through to, you know, 8th gear. And I did it the other night coming down from Monaghan, drove along the M50 and the M1 and the N7 and all those motorways. Just hoovered the road up 120 kilometers an hour on the cruise control, non-active cruise control, and just got where I was going. And it was very comfortable, very pleasant, nice audio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's all in it. And then when you want to, you've got a selection of M buttons. So you've M1, M2, these are programmable buttons as well. So when you press them, the car sits up and pays attention. That's M2 that I have in there right now. My loud exhaust is on, so you get a bark. And off she goes, like a scalded rat, like wow, and she's flying along. But when you take it out of M, turn that off, and you turn that off, which is the loud exhaust, you're just driving a 4 Series. And it feels like just a 4 Series, it just trundles along. It's very pleasant, don't get me wrong, this is a really nice car, but it doesn't feel special. What do I want from M4? Nothing. It delivers everything. I would actually buy this car. The unfortunate bit is I wouldn't buy it with the tax that's on it, but I would buy this car. It's just a gorgeous machine to be driving around in, particularly in this colour as well. You want to wake up the neighbours, you press that. Now you can go into M mode, which puts you into sport or road or track or, you know, whatever you want to do. I'm currently in road, but if you go into track, you get a different heads-up display. You get a rev counter goes up in the heads-up display,
meters,
and
right.
You start to roar down the road. Now I have a sat-nav set because I forget where this place is that I'm going to, and I've been up here loads of times. Now, sport mode is actually very tame, can I point out. These are all programmable, and I know once you press into the setup mode, You can go in here and you have a look at efficient, comfort, sport, engine this, engine that, all the different types you can mess around with. Have Sport Plus. You can really play with absolutely every setting on the car, and that's where a lot of M drivers are. In fairness to them, now that you hear that thing in the background every once in a while, that is the gesture control. That thing triggers off when there's nothing happening at all. Nothing. Just goes bling and decides it's on, and that's it. It's a strange setup for a car. If I'm honest with you, the whole car is kind of weird. Would I buy one? Do I think it's the best car that's ever been built around an answer? Not really. I probably would buy one because it's a glorious thing for other people to behold. If I'm honest with you, you'd buy it for other people. And driving it here in the mountains across these beautiful Laois roads, I'm happy as Larry. Could not get happier right now. If this road was a little bit better condition, I'd probably get happier, but realistically, it gets better further on, so I'm okay with that. I'm heading into the full mountain area of Slieve Bloom. It gets a little better here. It's just such a good, tight package. It is an M, but there's too much of it, like the 4 Series. Too much, particularly the interior. The bit I have to watch the whole time. Only the electronic things change. So the dashboard changes and the heads-up display changes, but everything else remains fairly the same, true to the ordinary 4 Series, or to even just the BMW group cars. It's starting to look the same, and I don't feel special enough sitting here at the wheel of it. You can, however, roll the window down and listen to your own car. Seats are actually very racy seats. They're quite comfortable for long drives, but to be honest, when you get in and get out of them enough times to go to the shop or something, you suddenly realise that seat is not actually easy. It stabs you in the leg as you're getting in because it's got an edge on it. And then, you know, you press the M button and the whole car becomes alive somehow. It becomes on your side. It's with you in the drive. And when it's in M and you have the manual mode turned on as well, so click that over, then all of a sudden the switchbacks become very interesting. The brakes start to squeal a bit as you go up the mountain. You can play with it like a toy. You can turn into every corner. It pitches, it holds its line perfectly well as you're going through the corners. Yeah. Such a perfectly balanced car when you're roaring along like this. Honestly, it is. The hills up here are fantastic for driving in, by the way, so I'll tell you that. Switchbacks and stuff. See the hidden part of Laois? You need to be the Port Laois petrol head to figure out where these places are. Don't tell anyone in the comments. It grips so well. You can tell that not everything is turned off. Now in track mode it turns everything off, but well, they say everything, but they don't really mean everything. But you can tell that not everything is turned off, and you can tell the car is on your side. The car wants you to feel like you're really having a good time. That's really what's going on here the whole time inside the car. And for that, it's fantastic. Like, that is a brilliant feeling to have, that the car is with you in the drive, you know. You don't have to fight it the whole time like you would have in the old M3s. Or even in the old M4, you had to put up a bit of a fight to manhandle around the track, you know. Not in this one. You can be on it here and having a great time. This days like this put a smile on your face as a car driver, you know, as a driver. You just like getting out and spinning the wheels for a bit. Yeah, the brakes start to grab there just at the top. Yes, baby. Switchback after switchback connects beautifully. It's an absolutely awesome car. The power behind it's phenomenal. And I love it. So we reached the top of the mountain here, and that is actually the highest point of Laois over there. It's as high as it gets here, and the fans are cooling the car down. I still have to go back down the mountain yet. I still look at these M cars in awe. They are phenomenal. They are mad. They're wonderful. They're a wonderful tribute to everything that is fossil fuel power. I wonder if it's the last we're going to see of this kind of car, when they all go hybrid or some sort of semi-electric thing or something in it that makes it all a little bit, well, tamer, safer, you know. The idea of M was to be mad. They aren't even made in the same factory. They shared nothing with each other. It happened to be a BMW 4, but the M was built in an entirely different place. The homogenization and the reduction in salaries and the reduction in staff and all these things, look, it's not something I can really get panicked about here right now, because right now I got to drive this back down the mountain. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. I really want that to happen. It's been wonderful to have you along. Maybe you'd like more of this. List the links down below if you want to get in touch with me. Until the next time. See you on the far side of this mountain.